I hope that you can hear me. Obviously, thankfully, even though my voice isn't fully strong like it was before, the choking incident happened. I am by now, thankfully, pretty much completely back to the way, you know, I was. I am a little bit breathless here and there. I'm a little bit airless. It's right now, it's 11:44 at night. So I mean, I can't really be that much louder than this, unfortunately. But I do almost have the strength. I am a little bit breathless, but thankfully I got my voice back. A couple of things. Uh, and I don't give a shit what anyone thinks or believes or likes or doesn't like. I'm gonna just tell the truth on this. What caused this to happen? I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that targeted individuals, they call it gang stalking. I am a targeted individual, and someone and something has been wanting to shut me up. And I know that spells have been done against me, and spiritual items have been done against me to shut me up. Along with that, I was losing control of some of my fine motor skills. And this has happened to me again here recently, where my throat will automatically swallow without me telling it to swallow. It'll just swallow. Now, I didn't tell my muscles to swallow. I didn't tell anything to swallow, and it just goes and swallows. You know, when I'm right in the middle of chewing or talking or just anything, which is very frightening. I've nearly, choked again because of that. So there is that. So I'm definitely being attacked with, as far as I'm concerned, some type of electronic instruments to get my muscles to, you know, they haven't fine tuned it, but they got it good enough so that my muscles, they have seizures and then they do stuff out of whack, out of sync, out of order, and they don't work correctly. They don't work. When I was younger, I was thinking that this was, MS symptoms and it got really bad. It's not MS. It is electronic torture. The other thing is that how I made this better. Uh, I think overall it's my mother's will. My mother's will for me to be healthy and alive. I think that is mainly the thing. And her prayers, but mainly her will for me to be healthy and alive. Other than that, um, and I'm going to point blank say this because it's just the truth. Satanism and witchcraft. And I'm not going to say any more than that other than I did stuff to remove what was on me, remove what was attacking me, and to protect myself. And I'm really upset because I have been completely, I don't know what other words to use. Been completely 110% weakened and made inert and made impotent, made worthless, made into not a threat at all in the spiritual realm, but even doing what I could do because it's like your spiritual strength, your spiritual power, your spiritual muscle is what causes things to happen along with your knowledge spiritually combined with the muscle, you know? So, but even in my weakness, while I was dying of not having enough air, on top of having no spiritual muscle, which I still don't have, no spiritual strength, which I still don't know, spiritual power, sway, influence, knowledge, even. Thankfully, the little bit that I did was just enough to get things moving and to help me out. And it was after doing that stuff that very same day, thankfully, um, that physically things started moving forward. And so now into the physical realm, what happened? I had to physically, because my body was dead. It was not moving, it was not responding, and it wasn't going to. I had to physically force myself to cough and start doing what my dad does, doing all these weird machinations, clearing of the throat, hacking, and I had to force myself to actually cough and not wheeze. And I had to fight with every last muscle that I had to just clear my throat. And what I ended up finding out was this, and I'm having a hard time even looking at the camera now. That's why I've been cross-eyed here, because I'm having to hold this so close so that you can hear me. I ended up, the bread, because I tasted it, I ended up tasting it, was stuck in my throat. And it was stuck on kind of like a ledge in my throat. And I ended up having to cough it up and swallow it. It was actually stuck in, like in here, in this area, in my throat. And I had to essentially gargle it and cough it up. And then the muscles automatically swallowed it and I tasted it. And it was that bread that I had somehow, and my guess is that, and this is what I was hoping for, going to sleep the first night, that it would somehow work its way up and that I would end up waking up not being able to breathe and having to try to force myself to cough. And I was just hoping that I was going to live through that. That never happened. Apparently, it somehow it ended up sliding up and getting far enough, but it was still stuck in my windpipe and stuck in my vocal cords area, in my throat area. And then I managed to manually, like a week later, quite literally a week later, cough it up the rest of the way, purposefully and consciously, and then swallow it down. But while I was sleeping the first night, because this happened at 9 o'clock at night when I choked, that night I decided, because I knew that the ER wasn't going to do anything, and it didn't. I went to bed hoping that it would slide its way up overnight, and it did, but I didn't notice it. And now for the last bit of this video. The reason I say I'm being gang stalked, and I wasn't even going to talk about that, but when I tried to make this video on the other phone, right when I started making the video, and I forgot about this until just now, right when I started making this video, a plane started flying overhead, and it got so loud you couldn't hear me. And then, out of the blue, it got so loud and it was so close that you couldn't hear anything I was saying. I couldn't even hear myself. We're in a residential area. They're not supposed to be flying that close at all. I gave up. I cut the video. I said, all right, I'm going to refilm this. So I stopped the video. I went to go film another one. And my phone, right as the plane was leaving and it was quiet, starting to get quiet again, my phone shut itself off. It cut itself entirely. It's not midnight. It's not like they were doing a network update. Moto G, my Moto G phone, shut itself off. And then after a few minutes, it came back on again like a restart and signed itself back in. I didn't sign into that phone. I didn't unlock it. It unlocked itself. It unlocked itself. So there is someone and something, or maybe many someones and somethings, trying to silence me. They're trying to silence me in tarot and astrology and art and personal beliefs and everything. So yeah, there you go. This is at the 10-minute mark. I have to cut it. I gotta go. But there you go. I had to do this update now while I was thinking about it and while I actually have the silence to do it. So bye.